Oh yeah, so I wanted to ask you guys. That was my question because you grew your Instagram now to over 120,000 engaged followers, right? What was the year you kind of started becoming really, really consciously active on Instagram?
Well, from the beginning, we started in March 2016,
Okay.
and we took a course, and we started to study Instagram. So like we were growing faster with Instagram than the blog, and we like more taking pictures, storyteller. We started traveling, and thanks to Instagram, with only 10,000 followers, we were getting partnership with hotels and brands. So that encouraged us to continue with Instagram more than with the blog.
That's really awesome, right? Because obviously that's like every influencer's dream, so to speak, right? But you guys, you're not only doing it for the travel industry, right? Where you're building up your expertise, right? But you also do it for clients, right? What are some of the industries that you guys have worked with successfully, also where you've grown, those industries or niches on Instagram?
Right now so we started building our Instagram just for us, like a supplement with our travel writing, and then accidentally we started working with clients, and now that's actually where most of our work go, and we're working now with personal coaches, with small businesses in different industries. Like we're working with the animal agency, like animal actors in Australia.
That's awesome.
We are working with a few e-commerce brands from the UK and the US. And yeah, so it's a mix of personal brands and business accounts. And we handle personal accounts and also feature pages, because that's something very popular in Instagram right now. So depending on the strategy of the business,
okay, very cool.
Various kinds of management.
Yeah, how I'm curious now, like from your guys' opinion, right? And I know, Rachel, you and we had a call like I think a week ago or so, and we talked about this a bit. Why do you think sort of like even now people sometimes say Instagram is maybe a little oversaturated, right? And especially when they're starting out, they feel like, I don't know how I should grow this, right? Because there's so much going on already. But even with that, right, I feel like we're still starting to touch the beginning of the iceberg. It's still, I feel like, for Instagram, right, in a sense. And why do you think it's so important for brands to really make a conscious effort to build a tribe on Instagram, like in 2018?
Yeah, I believe that Instagram is one of the fastest growing channels right now. And compared to Facebook, it is still very, very possible to grow organically in 2018. And we are hoping that it will continue until the rest of the year. I mean, we know that at some point, Instagram or all these social media channels will move to paid advertising, but until now there are a lot of growth strategies, building your personal brand or business brand organically. That's great. And I think the oversaturation is something that is a common worry for everyone. But there are always new users coming in, and Instagram is one of the fastest growing platforms. And especially they've been introducing so many features, like when Instagram stories came in, a lot of the people who were doing Snapchat or building following in Snapchat, a lot of our views have been cut in half. So a lot of the people actually jumped in Instagram. So I believe the channel will grow, and they will introduce more and more features for more people to continue creating there, and for businesses to actually have more access there.
No, exactly. I think, and you mentioned something, you're already touching on the next point, which was a question I know we had in a group a lot too, is Instagram stories. But before we dive into this a little bit, Alejandro, he was wondering, what's your guys' Instagram page again? I just thought that you can say it out loud one more time, and I'll drop it in the comments too.
Yes, so it's Gamin Traveler. It's GAMIN, and then Traveler with a single L.
Awesome. I just dropped it in the comments too. I want to make sure. And so yeah, so the question was that we got to in this group is, so with Instagram stories now, right? I think a lot of people are confused, and to be completely honest with you guys, it took me a while to figure out how to really maybe utilize it to document, my day. Do you guys have any kind of tips and so on, right? And what's the great benefit of using stories?
Well, there are many benefits with Instagram stories. I think with DMs and Instagram stories is the key for Instagram, especially to do business. Now with Instagram stories, you can add hashtags and you can add location, geotags, and I think that's very helpful. For example, if you are a coach, you can explain how is one day in your life, people are watching you, you can create polls, you can make the user very, very active.
Yeah.
And with the swipe up, it's really good to get links, to get leads, adding the link in the swipe up.
Yeah. So one thing about swipe up that Ruben mentioned, I know that there's a little limitation because you need to have 10,000 followers to actually have the feature on for your account. However, one of our favorite Instagram story is the poll, and we've been using it a lot. Like where you can ask people a certain question, and if you're trying to build an audience or just trying to understand the type of people watching your stories, asking questions that may be related to what you're building. So for example, if you're a personal health coach, you can start doing stories of your morning routine, and you can ask people, what type of person are you? Are you a coffee person or a tea person? So people like to engage in polls because it takes them only a second to actually answer.
Yeah.
Compared to having the need to, write a full comment or a full message. So from there, you will have, you already have you already have an idea how to start a conversation with those people, because you will see everyone who answered. And DMs is a very powerful partner of the poll.
Yeah.
So you can send your followers DMs based on their answers.
And I really like that, because you can do free market research, right? In essence, if we put it bluntly, and it's because that it's engaging, right? I think that's why it works really well as well. And you don't have to have 10,000 followers to use that, right?
No.
Okay.
So that's the great thing about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. Go ahead.
For example, if you are promoting like an ebook, you want to give for free to get a few leads. It's like you don't need to have 10,000 followers or 10,000 views. Like you just need to focus in which people are interested in that.
Yeah.
And with the poll, you can get like very targeted audience.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, very cool. I'm curious too. I'm looking for questions, right, that we had in the group too, because I wanted to address them. I know that people are still really confused about also in terms of daily engagement right now. What is sort of a good number? How many times should you post a day? And like, are there any tips on how you should post, right? Maybe you guys can talk a little bit more about that.
I think it's like if you have a personal account, for example, like our situation, I think daily post is really nice because if you want to create content, at least one. It's getting hard to create more posts, but it's like if you have the opportunity to do even two, it's better. And if you can afford to repost content in your account, I think if you post 3, 4, 5 times, it's better because you can reach different audience, like from Australia, different time zones, United States, Europe, every 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, I would say that if an account is just in the early stages, we always start with posting a lot of content, like maybe just to try to cover a lot of time zones, especially that Instagram is starting to reintroduce the well, it's not for everyone yet, but the timeline can go back to chronological order. It's right now we can see it's not perfectly chronological, but it's starting to when a lot of the people you're following, if you've been actively liking their posts, they appear in your timeline when they post immediately. So posting a lot, especially in the early stages of building your account, helps you cover a lot of time zones, and you can just see many
Okay.
times.
Is there, like, when you say a lot, right, is there something that's like too much, right? Because I heard a good number is posting 2 to 3 times and stretching it out over like 4 or 5 hours, right? So you can hit different time zones. Is this sort of like the recommended ones? Or would you actually, if you're just starting your account, right, and you don't have, excuse me, and you don't even have 1,000 followers yet, would you post like 5, 6, 7 times?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
As much you can post, I think better, and especially at the beginning, we started posting 5, 6 times.
Yeah, 5 to 7. In the beginning of us building the account, our personal account, we posted 5 to 7 times a day.
Wow.
So just to cover many time zones, and just to be out there. And every time we post in our account, we try to engage with people. It's like, for example, we post it now. We go to hashtags that are related to that post, and we start engaging with people who have used that hashtag in the first few minutes. And usually those people try to check who you are, and then comment or like on your picture. So those it can sound like a lot of work, but yeah, they do work. You just have to do them many times and a
You
lot.
just have, yeah, because the growth, like for any other organic marketing, I feel like is exponential, right? So if you put in the work at the beginning. But my question would be now, because I know we have some people watching that both have a personal brand and that have a business brand, right? So if you have a personal brand with that much content, you do have to kind of post your own content, or like, would you say that's required, or can you use stock images, for instance, right? If someone really wants to grow his Instagram and wants to put that much time into it, but just doesn't have that much content, right? As opposed to maybe like a business brand, you can post quotes, right? If you have, I don't know now, if you have luxury cars, right? If that's your sort of Instagram, then you can post just cars and get the images also from stock photography library. So what's your take on that?
I think the very first important thing to consider is you have to decide what kind of vertical or what kind of an account you want to build. Whether it's personal or it's business, would you focus more on, let's say you are a blogger. Would you focus more on your personal pictures, or would it be more because like personal coaches, they like to post selfies, and it's like very very common type of pictures. For travel bloggers, there are people who post their pictures of themselves, and but some people focus more on landscapes, and some people focus more on hotels. So there are different verticals. So I think in the beginning you'll have to decide it's what focus you will have in your account. And then for us, what worked for us was that we were very sincere with our captions in the beginning. We write really intentional and long captions. And yes, we have used and reshared photos of other people, and we just tell them and we just say in the caption why we reposted that photo.
Yeah.
Make sure that we mention whoever is the real owner of that photo. Better if you had the permission, but if not, just make sure you tag them in the photo.
Okay.
The captions is somewhere you can always play around. So
okay. That's great. I just saw we got some questions in from the community. So let me ask you guys. So Nicole is asking, should posts in your story be separate from your feed?
Oh yes.
definitely.
You can go your daily
Daily life.
day life, or for example, if you want to focus about food, about travel, and maybe you are posting a landscape, I think that it doesn't matter. That different is good.
I would say that in the feed, a lot of the people are more like it's more highly curated.
Okay.
Like it, like you take more serious pictures there, or you curate images, and in the stories you can be your raw, and you just show whatever you're doing.
No makeup.
Yeah, that's true, and it's just amazing actually. And it's stories is just like a playful side of you, or like you just wake up in the morning and
Yeah.
you can just. The thing is, just start doing the stories. Like you just start talking, and then you just tell them what you want to talk about. I mean, of course, intentional, but then yeah, you just show them what you're doing in your day, and then once you do it continuously, you will start to understand what people want to learn from you, or what people like watching actually. And you just have to show your personality there. I think the easiest way to build your stories is when you're showing more your personality, because then you can just be very candid about it, and then at some points you will have more of like a method to it. But
Yeah.
You can be creative with boomerang, like with GIFs.
there are many features.
Oh yeah, the focus feature and so on. I like to use it too. No, I think I agree with you guys. Just a little, and you probably have stories like that too. But I realize sometimes, especially in the story section, when I show, hey, I'm reading this book right now, right? Or I'm working late at night and I'm like singing because I'm going a little crazy. But you know, anything like that, and then people kind of write me way more on a personal level because they feel like they know me. And so your feed, right? It seems like with the images is kind of almost more like a business card, maybe. Look, I like that.
One story for later.
See you guys, this is how it's done. But yeah, you know, so that's kind of the difference for me, and it's just about trying it, right? And not being afraid, maybe, right? I guess with the stories.
Yeah, we definitely agree.
Awesome. So Nicole is also asking, thank you for the question, by the way, Nicole. Keep them coming, you guys. She's asking if it's okay to cross post, right, your stories on Facebook. Like, do you guys have any opinion on that? Or is that kind of like, she's posting it on both? You know, what's your guys' take on that?
We've definitely tested posting the pictures that we have on Instagram and reposting them on Facebook. I think the only challenge is, for example, on Instagram, hashtag is part of the platform, so you can use up to 30 hashtags. Sometimes if you automatically post that on Facebook, because there are many schedulers, all the hashtags will appear, and sometimes it's kind of weird, but in Facebook. So if you really have to repost it at the same time, for example, you're using a scheduler, what we do is we just go inside Facebook and edit it after.
Okay.
Or, but if you can like plan it in a different way, you can use the same photo, but depending on like your voice in that particular channel, you just have to follow that.
Yeah. No, and I would agree with you in terms of the images, right? How about the stories? Because Facebook has the feature now too where you can publish pretty much the same story you publish right on Instagram. Is that kind of redundant, or is it also, would you say, up to the brand and what you want to do with it?
Oh, you mean the
videos?
Story?
The videos?
Yeah.
You know, like yeah, exactly. Those, I think Nicole means.
Oh, I don't know. I would say you will have a very different audience from Instagram and Facebook, right? So since you have so we started experimenting on posting the same content, but at one point you will have to post different content. Like you will mix, like for example, in Facebook, we have very different people following us there. A lot of them came from our circle of friends, and they grew from there. And people from Instagram came from like fans because they like our photos. So we, if you have a really good photo, we actually repost them on Facebook too. But then we add different kinds of content in Facebook, like something more related to the people who are watching there.
Gotcha. That's a good point, definitely, because your audiences come for different reasons to the different social media platforms, right? So you have to be aware of that. Okay, so we have Christina from the Philippines, you guys. She's asking how many hashtags are allowed.
Oh,
Is 30 allowed?
it's 30. Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
I think
Nicole.
we recommend always to use 27, 28 because it's better not going for exactly 30 and try to change every post different hashtags. Like you just keep 7, 8 you are using if you are in the application, and the others like keep changing all the time related to the picture or the place where you want to feature in our case.
Yeah. And I think the latest change in Instagram is to make sure that your hashtag
Wait 1 second.
the most
There we go.
Oh.
It works again. I just
so
thought.
one comment that before people add the hashtags as a first comment because people want to hide the hashtags, but I think that's not working anymore. So you have to add your hashtags in the caption section. Yeah.
Okay, I have a question for that. I was curious about something personally too. Have you guys heard, is it true that Instagram now starts kind of shadow banning your account if you kind of posting like a whole crap of, a whole, list of hashtags? Is that true? And that you have to be really mindful and intentional about the hashtags you're using?
I think so. Like it happened with a few accounts we've been watching and following. Like they are always you become lazy in the same hashtags. So it should be nice to keep changing all the time. And when it's happening shadow ban, it's not like a disaster. Like if you start like changing the hashtag or just start posting without hashtags a couple of times, and maybe in 2-3 days you can be again shadow ban.
Yeah, the thing about shadow ban is there are so many news going around, and sometimes what we always keep in mind is that we don't really know 100% what Instagram is trying to do with the platform. So there's no strict rules, and it's not like when you're shadow banned all the time. So what we do is we just want to be mindful that we're acting like, so we change our hashtag status all the time so that you don't appear like, because if you're using the same hashtags over and over, they say that it will look like you're not posting as a real person, a bot, or something like that. So if you're doing it naturally and if you're changing it all the time, I think you should be safe. And we just try not to worry so much, because there was a time when shadow ban became like a big news everywhere and everyone was checking. And I think it's so hard to always be worried about that, because the platform is always changing. So if you keep on posting, if you don't, if you're always consistent on your strategies, the account will continue to grow. Sometimes there will be like a halt or something, like it will slow down because of the platform changes, but you just need to be consistently doing your strategies and it should continue to grow.
Okay. I really love that. I think that's, so important to be consistent, right? Like that's one of the key things. I would love it. Maybe we can share a little bit more, just because I know hashtags are really still important, right? Because it's almost like where you're categorizing your images, right? And that's a major way that your ideal audience could potentially find you, right? Do you guys have any best practice tips? I can only say for myself, I've used very broad, huge hashtags, and that was like not a good strategy, right? Because I wouldn't even show up, at all in terms of the hashtags. Can you guys maybe like elaborate on that a little bit? That would be awesome.
I think it's nice if you can combine them. Like when posting, if you use a huge hashtag, you will have very short result. But if people are liking you, maybe you go up in the hashtag, and later you need to try to use hashtag like if you are 10,000 followers, you don't need to go for a million hashtag. Maybe around
Exactly.
200,000, something you can appear more time and get
Yeah.
more exposure.
Yeah. So a combination. So a combination, like maybe five will be very strong, like you're targeting very broad hashtags, and then some hashtags you need to like find more niche hashtags or like where you can get more chances of being seen. So doing a mix is always good.
Awesome. And how often do you guys switch off your hashtags, like, and research if there are new hashtags out there? Do you guys go through that like maybe every week or every month?
Well, daily we usually change a few of them, but
Eh,
if, for example, yeah, I think every 2 weeks we try
Every time.
to renew a little bit.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Usually we have a set of 6 to 7 hashtags that we rotate. So it's like they're prepared already and we just rotate. So depending
Yeah.
on how many posts you put out every day, we just make sure, we're targeting or hitting a lot of hashtags as we go.
Awesome. Okay, let's switch gears a little bit because we've got a question from Enrico. I hope I pronounced your name correctly, by the way. If not, let me know in the comments. And he's asking, do engagement groups, are they still working, right? Because there has been a buzz about that too. So what's your guys' take on that?
Yes, I think it's working really, really good. Especially you try to engage when posting. Like if you are in fitness needs, if you can engage with accounts in your needs, is really important. And as sooner, better. But during the day is also good. Always with the is in the same needs. I think it's very, very important.
Yeah. I think engagement groups is still, at least for us, it's still at the heart of our strategies. Like networking with accounts that, so we always do a mix. But for example, if you're in travel, if you have a network of um, other travel bloggers, travel accounts, so making sure either you post at the same time so that you can get engagement immediately and get exposure from each other's audiences. That's great. Or if that's not possible, just continue networking and getting likes and comments from them is good. It's not always possible for sure to just get engagement from the same niche. So you can also network from other niches. But I think having engagement groups is very, very important. And it's something that we make sure we build when we're growing an account.
That's awesome. I remember we were talking about it, and I think that's such an important tip, right? Also, that we can share. Maybe you can share it about how you can start an engagement group. Do you remember, like, what you told me about, like, becoming an organizer?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So my suggestion, because I think one of the biggest strategies that we actually do is you network with big accounts. And what we've noticed when we've tested different kinds of posting, is that once you posted a new picture or video, when you get engagement, like let's say in the first half hour and in the first hour, the more engagement you get, and when you get more engagement with accounts that have high following and are very, very active, your post can get more exposure, and um, it can go to explore, it can go viral if it's a viral type of content. So one strategy that we've done is you just need to start hitting people in the DMs. Let's say you want to network with people with 50,000 following. So you send them messages and tell them a very good, first message like, "Hey, I'm Gavin Traveler, and guys, we're trying to build a really good engagement group for 50,000 accounts. And so let me know if you're in so I can add you to the group. and not everyone will reply, but those people who will reply, you just need to put them together, and then since you're the organizer, you can add yourself in, and then because people don't like to be organizers, that's why they're just waiting for people to put them together, because it's hard to be an organizer. So when
Oh, does it still work? 1 second.
and
There we are. We are back. Okay. Yeah, no, that's such an amazing tip, and thank you so much for sharing that. I'm sure, like, it's awesome. Nicole, she said, thanks, very informative. Just so you guys know, and so we have Alejandro. We talked about this a little bit before, but he was asking again how important it is to be original with your posts and not to repost from other pages on Instagram.
sorry, to be what?
So how important is it to be original with your posts, right? With your content, as opposed to kind of just reusing content from other accounts?
You want to? I would say
Who's taking the question?
for us,
Yeah.
yeah, for us, we do a mix of it, especially because you don't have. I think if you don't have personal content just yet, because some people will worry, oh, we don't have the right equipment, so we cannot build an Instagram page now, and that's not true. You can start building your Instagram page now, and if you have to repost content, that shouldn't be a problem, because there are a lot of big Instagram accounts that are actually feature pages, and they just try to develop a theme with it. So usually you just have to be very intentional with it. And we started reposting a lot of content too when we didn't have proper pictures yet, but we're already traveling. We just tell people that, hey, we're in this particular country, and in the next 7 days we will be reposting amazing pictures from the country we are traveling in. So as long as we're not, we make sure that we give credit to the right person, and then we just, be intentional with our captions. We like reposting. And to be honest, for business accounts that we grow, reposting is actually a very important part of the strategies we're doing, because we like to do research and repurpose content that has gone really well on other people's accounts. And this is like a big strategy. If you see an account that is growing well and they are reposting a certain kind of content, you just need to copy that style, especially if you're building the same kind of vertical or the same niche. Like, repurpose that content, try to study what the successful accounts are doing, post it for your own account and see how it works. Because usually there's just a trend. Like for fitness, for example, the side-by-side photos of the old you and then the new you are very, very viral. So if you repurpose those content and post it on your account, as long as you tell them it's not your real photo, but let's say you understand the process in making those changes, then you just have to say in the caption like what knowledge you have about that particular photo, and you can still find an audience. And then you just have to send DMs, and be intentional with the messages that you send out.
Yeah, you are bringing followers related to your needs, so it doesn't matter, in my opinion, like if you publish videos related to fitness, transformations, even they are not from you, your followers, they want to see those things. And as much you can stay posting, they will like to see, if they can see 3, if they like your page, it's like better than see 1 post. If they can see 3, for them it's better.
Yeah. Awesome. I think it was really funny because you just answered Sai's question. I think so. I believe, Sai, let me know if you have any follow-up questions for that in terms of like just company branding. But that was awesome, you guys. And I know you also have a surprise, right? Gift, at the end of this Facebook Live. We're probably going to take on like a few more questions. But just so you guys know, for all those of you staying on, like you're definitely going to get a surprise gift from Ruben and Rachel. And so Enrico is asking, do you have to reply to every comment on your post, even if it's like from a repost or not? like how important is, I guess, replying to comments, right, that you're getting on your Instagram post?
The new algorithm, they say, like, as fast as you can reply to comments, better.
Yeah, with the new
So
changes on Instagram, what you've noticed is, let's say for the first 15 minutes, you have to reply really fast on the comments that you're getting, and it makes the post really, really active, and it can get more exposure. So that's why a lot of travel bloggers have been doing that lately. Like, you'll see there's a trend.
Yeah.
Like, for example, travel bloggers will put up a story. Guys, I will post in the next 10 minutes. Everyone who will comment in the first 15 minutes, I will choose someone to shout out. So everyone a lot of travel bloggers have been doing that, and it's because everyone has been noticing that once people start to engage immediately with you and you comment back to them, the post becomes stronger. So yeah.
That's an amazing tip, right? So essentially you're using your stories, right, a little bit, and give people, right, a heads up that you're posting, and then like just be quick in replying, and that helps you with the Instagram algorithm, right?
Yes.
Awesome. That's a really great tip. I hope you guys got that. And Enrico is saying thank you so much, guys. And then Alejandro is saying thanks a lot. It's very detailed, so you guys are awesome. Sai is asking, do you guys use any tools, any softwares, any apps, or anything like that related to your Instagram strategy?
Yeah, we do use a lot of tools, and lately, because of the very latest issue with Facebook, I know they made some API changes and limitations. But before the last few weeks, there were very, very important tools in our work, like Social Blade for just to see the everyday growth of an account. We've also been using schedulers. Schedulers are a very important part of our work, because if you have to think about your post the moment that you'll be posting, it's so hard to be intentional. So if you can schedule like a month, or if it's not possible, like at least a few weeks or a few days in advance, like it's more efficient, and then if you can just like focus one day or a few hours of your day to schedule a lot of content, and it will be easier to have, so that you can keep consistent, because we've tried it with people who do not schedule in bulk. It would be impossible for them to be really consistent with their content, and they will keep missing their posts. So yeah, that's very important.
Cool.
Command for Instagram is something we've used so much, but I'm pretty limited now because of the latest changes, because we do a lot of research before. So command for Instagram is only available for iOS, and it helps you search any account and find their best content, and that's what we use to repurpose. Like, for example, you find the best growing accounts in your niche. You search their best content, which posts were the strongest, and you repost them in your account. Now I think it's limited to the last 2 months, but it's still very, very useful.
It's only for iPhone, that one.
Yeah, it's only for iPhone.
I like also Regram. When you are reposting,
I heard that.
it's really nice. You get the link and it's really fast. You just change the caption, or you are ready with the caption and hashtags. It's really fast for videos, pictures.
Awesome. I wanted to ask you guys, can we maybe comment then? Would you mind commenting with those softwares and tools that you just recommended then when we're over with this Facebook Live? We're just going to comment it because I know we're going to get some questions. So that would be awesome. Cool. And then I think Christina, she was asking too, which you guys kind of answered already, but when will be the best time to switch from personal account to business account?
Oh, right now, with the new changes in Instagram, I would say now is the best time to actually make that change.
Okay.
Yeah, because so many of the third-party tools that provide insights
Yeah.
Because of the latest issue, the apps will be limited to show results or to show profiles. So you have to be a business account, and you will see if you have been reading like newsletters from Planoly, from Iconosphere. Everyone now is encouraging people to change their accounts to business to have more access to insights.
Okay, that's a very important tip. Because that's one thing that I learned too, and I learned it the hard way. It's like you can also create amazing content, right? But like you were saying, Rachel, before, you have to be consistent and also intentional about the times that you use. Like, right, you want to analyze what times are the best for your account to post, because otherwise you're kind of like missing out a little bit, right? So, and the business account helps. Go ahead. Sorry.
Business accounts helps so much, and if you want to use your insights at one point, whether it's for your personal brand to show how strong your account is, if you want to use it for work, or for you to show your statistics, the easiest way is to just turn on the insights. And there have been times when we didn't turn on insights for some accounts we've handled, and maybe you never know when the engagement will be really, really good. And if you miss that, you will not be able to get it back again. So if you turn it now, there were issues before that people were saying engagement will go down when you turn your business, when you turn business, but that's not the case anymore.
We had those issues also. We were like business, personal, business, but
yeah, but that's not the issue anymore now.
I think it's better business from the first day, in my opinion.
Awesome. Okay, so definitely, so one action step, right? If you guys take anything away from watching this, switch your account to business right now if you haven't done so yet. So that's very important to you guys. Let me see, I'm just looking through the questions. I think we pretty much answered all the questions we got in so far. I think we are definitely going to go ahead and answer a few more questions if people in the replay, right, have any questions throughout these next 24 hours. That, you know, that's awesome, so people can still answer some questions. But I think otherwise we tackled everything, which is awesome. Like, thank you again, like, you guys, really for taking the time. If you have any other information to share, please go ahead and share it right now, and also tell us about your gifts that you have prepared.
What is your biggest advice maybe for someone trying to grow their account right now?
I think like you need to watch the accounts they are growing good. And for example, in travel, the accounts they are working really good. You can watch which time they are posting, how many times they are posting, and you can copy everything, but you model in your way. Or there are personal accounts, the content they are creating. You are a couple, they are taking pictures as a travel couple, so you copy and you have like more information, and later you do in your style, of course.
Yeah, that's true. I think I will agree with Ruben. One thing that we always do, even if you're starting a new account right now, you just do your research first. Check the accounts that are growing in the same niche, and you need to do what is already working for them. Like, just because I know that sometimes you want to be creative, and that's amazing, but there's always a trend in Instagram. So if this is what's working for, if transformation posts is what's working for fitness, for example, you have to do the same thing. And to be honest, if you want to network with people, let's say you find the top accounts that are posting in the fitness category, check the people who are commenting in the first 10 minutes. Maybe that's like a good engagement group. So you just reach out to them, and at some point you will be able to build your own network and your own engagement group. So because a lot of the people have their own engagement groups already, so you just reach out to the first few people who are commenting, and
you will be inside the circle.
You will be inside their circle.
That is an amazing tip, you guys. Do you have, my question would be for someone maybe who doesn't know that yet, how would you find top accounts? right, in your industry or niche? How would you do that sort of market research?
I start with hashtag personally.
With the hashtags, with the content you like, you are liking, you are following. I do mainly with the hashtags and with the explore page you have in your account. You was which is the most like usually in our account about travel related posts with many likes. So those accounts are usually really good.
Okay.
And in the hashtags mainly.
I think the Instagram algorithm is of course continuously growing smarter. So if let's say you're trying to build a travel account, so you start using travel hashtags and you start interacting with travel content and you start following top travel accounts. If you go to your search, you will start getting all the viral and trending content related to that category, and you can start your search from there. That and hashtags.
Awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Just so you guys know, saying you guys are really walking it. So thanks. And I had one more thought while I was listening to you guys too. Maybe we can touch just quickly still on geotagging, right? Like, what's your take on geotagging, and how kind of important is that to tap into another pool of potential audiences? Who takes the question? Sorry.
Yes, we've been tagging many big accounts about travel, and maybe you can get repost and you can get a like, you can connect with them. Yeah, we usually tag accounts. For example, if we are traveling in Bali, we try to get attention or maybe a hotel or big accounts they are reposting content about Bali. So maybe we can get reposted and get a new followers or get noticed in other feeds, not ours.
Yeah, that's true. So if, for example, if you know in advance what type of content you'll be posting, let's say in our category, we know we will be posting about Bali this week. We will do an advanced research of the top Bali feature pages. So we make sure we tag those people in our pictures, and then if there's a tourism board or other influencers not so much, so more feature pages, so we do that. Location, we just tag either the hotel or the general location of the place. But in the stories, one thing that we've always done recently is we put a location and a hashtag in every story. Let's say we are in Bali and we are in this particular town. So maybe the first two, we will tag the real location we are in, but then the third story, we want to target another town or another city. We tag that location and we just make it smaller. But then you will see that in the results, you can get featured in that town or in that location, even if you're not there. But then people who are reading or who are watching or are located in that place can actually find out about you. And
for
that's
us,
a great technique we've been doing for stories, actually.
Even connecting with people, like we are gonna go next destination 7 hours by bus. You just add the geolocation and the hashtag. What's the plan? Someone over there? Any recommendation? And some people they are sending you messages. Oh, like we can meet. So it's really nice that feature in Instagram stories.
Wow, that's really cool. Thank you so much for sharing that, guys. Do you have, I'm curious because I know just one last thing, because I want to be respectful of your time too. One thing that I know is that we have a lot of service-based business owners and entrepreneurs in our group too, right? Do you guys maybe have any particular tips in regards to kind of service-based businesses and like Instagram growth?
Oh, you mean if they want to do Instagram management?
Exactly. I mean, so if they're, for instance, if they're a copywriter or if they're maybe financial advisor or if they're, like a marketing person or whatever, and they are wanting to grow their Instagram, right? More maybe as either a business or a personal brand for service-based businesses. Are there any kind of strategies that you guys know about as well?
For us, I think if it's a service business or a coach,
Yeah.
we want to think about first of their top audience or top target audience, because in the beginning, a lot of people will immediately gravitate to motivational or coach content, but at some point, not really saturated, but at some point, so many accounts are doing code content. So there may be a lot of them out there. So what we do is, if you know the type of people you want to attract, are they more into lifestyle or into beautiful pictures? Are they more serious? Um, yeah, you just have to post the type of content that will attract those people. And
Gotcha.
if you really want to do motivational, or if you want to do, it will really depend on your goal. Let's say for some of the people that we manage, in the first few weeks, if their goal is to grow their number of followers, and let's say they want to do motivational content, we try to find out what's going viral in that vertical. And right now, um, the emotional photos or the swipe photos, for example, is
Yeah.
something very viral right now. We just do a lot of that. In the beginning, there will be a lot of testing, but once you find out what works for you and what's also going viral, you kind of have to find like the balance between that and
And inviting in the caption to, for example, if you have a swipe, it's like, which one you like more, 1, 2, or 3? So people are commenting, and it becoming viral, the post, because of the comments, like 1, 2,
yeah,
3.
more engaging
Yeah.
captions.
Gotcha. Very cool. I've definitely seen those around too, especially also among, I guess, fashion bloggers. You know, where it's like, hey, this is my pretty picture, and right, and hey, this is what it took me to take this picture, or something like that, right? So that's very interesting. I think so. You guys' take is definitely that you have to focus on your audience, right? But you shouldn't be afraid to test stuff. So it's like a mix of both, right, with your account, and just try to find your personal voice and brand.
Definitely,
Right.
definitely. Because I know that I would say that you shouldn't be afraid testing. Like that's very, very important, because we've um, we've come across a lot of people who are immediately worried about their aesthetic in Instagram. And that's very important, and that's okay to think about. However, you just have to understand that sometimes there's already a type of trending content in a particular vertical. So it will really depend on your goal. But if you want to grow your followers immediately, maybe in the first few weeks, you can't focus on aesthetic immediately, or you just do a mix of it. Like you just strategically repost content, post your personal content, or aesthetically pleasing content, or more related to your brand, and you just archive intentionally. So for us, archiving is a big part of our strategy. So if a content is still getting engagement, we make sure it's still there. If it's going, if the engagement is already stopping, like no more likes are coming, no more followers are coming, then you can archive it. We try to use the archive feature instead of deleting a post, because when you archive a content, the engagement that you got for it will still be a part of like the whole week of your engagement, and it will still be a part of your insights. So I think it can generally pull up your average engagement. Instead of deleting it, it will like erase it from your whole average. So yeah.
That's a very good point. Because I honestly, I have to say, I so far has only deleted the content when I tried it and it didn't work. So I guess I will move over to archiving it now. So thank you. That's a great tip. Let me see. I'm just looking who else has any questions, but I think again we moved through everything. Do you guys have anything else to share? Because I looked through my questions. I think I asked you guys everything. Do you have anything else to share?
No.
No, you're like, you're good.
That's a special gift.
That's awesome. Well, thank you again, you guys, for taking the time. Like I said, I know it's pretty late. You're in the Philippines right now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you. I know. And then do you guys maybe want to just tell the listeners still who have been listening until now about, your special gift, what you have to offer?
Yes, for everyone who stayed until now, thank you so much for listening in and being active and being there. And we want to offer everyone like a Instagram audit. It's something that we love doing. It's something that we want to Instagram audits is something we actually do every day, and it helps us understand a lot of accounts in different categories. So if you're still here, we just need your details, maybe the email and your Instagram handle. If you want to throw in what are your goals for your account, then we can do a quick Instagram audit and maybe give you some quick tips for quick wins in growing your Instagram.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, you guys. Like seriously, that's an awesome gift. Yay. Okay, cool. So like I said, thank you so much for tuning in, for taking the time. If you guys who are watching this still, or watching this on a replay, if you have any question, comment down below in the question. Don't forget to drop your hashtags if you're team live or team replay. And I'm gonna definitely check in with you guys in the next video. So thanks so much again. Bye, you guys.
Thank you
Thank you so much.